this is your consciousness moving itself up the scale of emotions, from despair, from powerlessness to now anger. When you're in a place of anger, you're regaining some of your power back slowly. It's not someplace where you want to stay, but it is a place that you can appreciate and observe and see it for what it is. And that is a stepping stone into that next better feeling place. Even though I've done videos on this topic before, I want to touch on it again because the emotional scale is one of the most important things that you can learn to understand yourself, your emotions, why you feel the way you feel, and most importantly, how to feel better, how to elevate yourself into these higher feeling emotions so that you can actually be a magnet to attracting the things that you want in your life, so that you can attract the type of people that you want, the type of situations, the type of abundance, the type of opportunities into your life. In order to become a magnet to all of these amazing high level things, you have to raise your own personal frequency. You have to be vibrating at a high level place because you get what you are. You attract where you're at. So in order for you to thrive and to have everything that you want, you have to make it an absolute priority to be in these higher level frequency places as often of the time as possible. Now, at the very same time, I want you to understand and remind yourself that all emotions that exist on the emotional scale are neither good or bad. Even the low vibrating emotions like disappointment, powerlessness, anger, hatred, they exist on a side of the scale that is to one side, and they have a number. You can assign a number, frequency of those emotions. And even though those emotions feel bad when you're feeling them, it doesn't mean that they themselves are bad. They just are. And when you're there in that place, you will attract situations and things that also match that same frequency, which again is not necessarily good or bad. It just is. But if your desire is to be at a high frequency, if it's your desire to upgrade your life, to change things, to have good coming in, to feel abundant, to feel happy, to feel enthusiastic, to have passion, and if it's your goal to feel that way, then you definitely have to understand how the scale of emotions works and where you are on it so that you can easily see whether or not you're on your way to that higher level place where you wish to be. So with respect to anger, and I love to look at anger because it's such a misunderstood emotion, and it does lie on that lower end of the scale. If you look at the picture here of the scale of emotions, anger is definitely here near the bottom. It's definitely not at the top where you want to be. But here's the thing. Anger is not caused by the things and circumstances and the people that have done something to you to create you to be angry. Anger is simply a reflection of where you are on the emotional scale, where your level of consciousness is at this moment in time. So if you are angry, it's not because of the circumstance or the person, it's because that's where your level of consciousness is right now in this moment. Now, to raise our level of consciousness, we want to change our focus from the things that are making us angry to the things that we are grateful for, right? This is why people talk about creating a gratitude journal. This is why people talk about changing your focus. Focus on positive aspects in your life. Focus on the things that you want to expand, because whatever you focus on will show more of itself and will expand to you. But this is very hard to do when you're in a state of being angry, when something is physically in your face that you are facing that is a challenge. It's very difficult to just turn a switch and write in your gratitude journal, right? It's too big of a jump. So the reason why the emotional scale can be so helpful to you is because it helps you to see that there are incremental steps in going higher on that emotional scale. It's not about going from 0 to 100 in one jump and one flip of a switch of just changing your mindset or changing your focus, but it's about seeing the incremental steps that are happening as you're experiencing them. So here's an example for you. You get into a thought that is making you angry, and you think of something from the past, somebody that hurt you, somebody that upset you, somebody that offended you, and you're getting riled up as you're thinking about this. It feels so unfair, and you're getting upset, and you're wondering, why did this have to happen to you? Why did this person have to do this to you? And why do you always seem to experience these types of situations in your life? So the next time that this happens to you, that you find yourself sitting there in anger and you're upset, I want you to think, where were you previously in your mind before this anger creeped in? What happened earlier in the day? What happened the day before? And ask yourself if it wasn't not, because now look at the emotional scale here. Ask yourself if you were in a state of powerlessness, feeling unworthy, feeling guilty, feeling insecure. Because, and this is, you'll find this every single time, if you ask that question and you backtrack a minute and say, wait a minute, why am I so angry right now? Have I been in a state of powerlessness recently? And if the answer is yes, then I want you to understand that your anger is now a step in the right direction. Anger is always our way of pulling ourselves out of powerlessness. And powerlessness is the lowest state of consciousness that you can be in. You cannot create anything from a level of powerlessness. If you feel powerless, if you feel that no matter what you do, it's not going to matter, it's not going to make a difference, it's not going to make a change, if you feel overwhelmed and you feel like you don't know the next steps to take, then you cannot create anything from that place. And because your higher self knows this about you, it is trying to pull you out of this state of powerlessness, because you are a creator. You are here to create, to design, and to make your dreams a reality. That's what you're here for. You're here to find joy. You're here to find passion. You're here to create the life that you envision for yourself, even if that's just to be happy and content. So because your higher self knows that you are a creator, that in order for you to create, you have to be in your fullest self. You have to be in the feelings that are going to serve you in the most ultimate way, which is at this high end of the scale. Do you see this high end of the scale? Do you see how it says joy, appreciation, empowerment, freedom, love? Like, just saying those words, feel what it feels like in your body when you say, I am so joyful. I am in so much appreciation of my life, of where I'm going, of the vision that I have. I feel empowered. I feel free. I feel love for myself, for my circumstances, for the people around me. Feel how that feels in your body. And now feel how it feels in your body to say, I'm scared. I'm in grief. I feel powerless. I feel despair. I'm not secure in my abilities. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel like I'm enough. Do you feel like, even for me just saying those words on those two sides of the emotional scale, do you feel the difference? Do you feel how the high end of the scale is where all your power is? That when we're at that high end of the scale emotionally, we're just so powerful there that there are no limits, that we can create anything that we want. But when we're down here at this low end, it's just like death. It feels so solid. It feels so stuck. Okay? So now, because your higher self knows this about you, it wants to pull you out at any cost out of this low feeling place. And if you take a look at anger, look how much higher it is on this scale. So the next time that you find yourself really, really upset and it just doesn't feel good, or someone in your life is really angry and you don't understand, like, what is this anger? What is this anger that you're projecting here? And now approach the anger with the compassion and understanding that this is your consciousness moving itself up the scale of emotions, from despair, from powerlessness, to now anger. When you're in a place of anger, you're regaining some of your power back slowly. It's not someplace where you want to stay, but it is a place that you can appreciate and observe and see it for what it is. And that is a stepping stone into that next better feeling place. After anger, we can go into discouragement, go into worry, we doubt, disappointment, overwhelm. But these are all stepping points to get you up to, you know what? It is what it is. And hopefulness, maybe from there. Maybe I don't have to feel this way. Maybe there is hope. Maybe there is a chance. I've seen other people do it. You know, maybe there's hope for me. Maybe there have been moments in my life where I've felt myself as a creator. I've felt myself in my power. There have been moments in my life where I've felt a lot of joy and a lot of optimism. And so maybe I can get eager and happy and silly and goofy again and not take things so seriously. What am I so angry about anyway? Am I taking things really so seriously? Is any of this even real? You know? Like, have you heard this analogy that we're all just actors in a play, and we all just come here on this stage, which is Earth, and we agree, you know, in this time I'll be the good guy and you be the bad guy. Do we come down here with these agreements to just wear these costumes? Because at the core, we're all perfection. We're all the same. We are love. We are perfection. We are everything. We are pure positive potential. You know this is true because when you look at a newborn baby, they do absolutely nothing. They just exist. And you can feel the pure positive potential, the love, the fullness, the completeness of that being. That is what we all are. But because we put on these identities and we wear these costumes of who we are and what we believe and what we think is right and wrong, and and we come into conflict with one another, which creates emotions. But the emotion is just a reflection to show you where you currently are on your level of consciousness. It doesn't have anything to do with the situation. It doesn't have anything to do with the person or what's going on. It's just a reflection to show you where you're at. And if you're at anger, ask yourself if you were just at hopelessness not too long ago. And if you were, then you know you're on your way. So there's not anything that you need to do to pull yourself out of the anger other than notice, accept the reality that you're on your way up. Just observe it. Like, here it is. Understand that it's your higher self pulling you, guiding you gently up the emotional scale to where all your creative power is. Give thanks. Maybe say thank you. You might not feel it in the moment. It's really hard to feel grateful when you're angry. I mean, you can't feel any of these higher feeling emotions when you're in a lower level feeling place. Like, you can't feel despair and happiness and passion at the same time. They're two opposites. Okay? So it's going to be hard for you to feel grateful when you're in anger. But you can still say the words, thank you. Or think the words, thank you. And as you think that, and as you just observe where you're at, you will, it's like magic. I'm not even kidding you. It's like magic. You will notice a couple hours will go by. You're going to feel a little better. You're going to feel a little better. And you're going to feel a little better. And then, like, the next day, you're whistling and driving along and you got music on and you're feeling really good. It's going to be a natural process of rising up. There's not anything that you really need to do. Because once you observe this, once you understand it, once you call it what it is, once you give a little gratitude for it, our highest self just has a way of just pulling us up. And if we keep hammering down to the specific situation that's making us upset, then all we do is glue ourselves down into the emotion. So remember, it's not the situation. It's just a reflection of where you're at currently. And you can just allow yourself to rise up naturally without doing much effort on your part. Once you make this realization, once you make this observation. It's really, really interesting. I really hope that you try it out. Screenshot this scale of emotions. Look at it, study it. One of the things that really can help you feel better, attract more amazing stuff into your life is when you understand this and when you catch yourself at these different spots on the scale. You just understand them for what they are and you don't assign so much value to them. You don't make yourself feel like a worthless person just because you're in a low vibrating state. A low vibrating state just is what it is. It's just there on the scale right alongside with all the other ones. And when you feel a certain emotion and you understand what comes above or below that emotion, you can catch yourself before you hit all the way to the bottom. So if you find yourself in boredom is a really interesting place because from boredom, you can go all the way down, you can spiral all the way down into despair, or you can spiral up into love and empowerment and joy. So be careful what you do when you're bored. Be careful what you're thinking about when you're bored. It's a very pivotal place. This is really, really cool to know and understand. It will help you tremendously. It has helped me over the years so much, more than I can even describe in this video. I think tomorrow I actually would love to start a series on the 12 laws of the universe, and I think I'm gonna start on that tomorrow. I'm also working on a waiting list for a program that I'm creating that is designed around the fear of travel and specifically the fear of flying. that's been something that I've overcome, and I'm really excited to put together all of my tools and everything that I've done to completely eliminate this fear out of my life. And it's 100% eradicated, and it's amazing. So that, look for that. I will link that up. That's coming very, very soon. But yeah, that's all I have for you for today. If you're interested in learning more about the scale of emotions, I do have another video where I dove in a little more deep, and I'll link that as well in the description here. So please comment and let me know what you think, and I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.